everybody consent to be on video?
Yeah.
Do you actually have the consent forms written down?
Yeah, I already had my one speech.
Here's a verbal consent.
Oh. So, my speech today about the Apple Computer Corporation history, and I think everybody knows about Apple Corporation, which is known by its computers, MacBooks, iPhones, and other stuff. Well, I have the iPad, and it will be my flashcards today. Apple Corporation was founded by two dropout students, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Those two guys, they had a first project that was just the usual box that allowed people to place long distance calls for free. They sold several of those boxes. And that when they sold those boxes, they realized that they have potential to do more bigger projects. And they decided to work on their first computer, which had a name Apple I. They had the order from the local retail store for 50 of those computers. The benefit of those computers was that they didn't have the power supply and keyboard. In order to produce 50 computers, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak sold their van and two calculators, the most valuable stuff that they had, and they raised about $1,300 and started production of those computers. After successful selling 50 computers, they got an order for 200 computers from the local computer hobbyist club in San Francisco, and they sold each computer for $666. And after successful production of those computers, they wanted to move to more advanced computers, and the second project that Steve Jobs had in mind was Apple II. And in order to produce more computers, Steve Jobs hired high school students who liked to work in computers to produce chips and motherboards. And Steve Jobs wanted to start the company, but he didn't have a required knowledge. So he asked Mike Markula, retired electronics engineer who had managed marketing for Intel Corporation. And he bought 1/3 of the company for $250,000. And then in 1977, when Apple Corporation was legally founded, Mark Markula became the first president. And Steve Wozniak was a full-time engineer employee in Apple Corporation. And after the successful selling of the Apple II computer, Steve Jobs wanted to get more attention to his company, and he hired Mike Markula, Regis McKenna, owner of the most successful advertising and public relations firm in Silicon Valley. And Regis McKenna, actually the one who invented the Apple logo that we know right now. In 1979, Apple introduced the Apple II Plus, the fastest computer for the time, which had a 3.5 inches drive. But other computers had a 5 inches drive. That made Apple II Plus faster computer. And in December 1980, Apple went public, and it became the first company to reach $1 billion in annual sales. Later, in 1980, Apple had some mismanagement problems, which Steve Jobs had to quit from the company and start his own company, as known as Next. After the problems that brought Apple Corporation down on the market, Apple board decided to fire the current president, and buy the Next Corporation for $377 million, $77 for the company, which brought Steve Jobs to the current position of the CEO and consultant. And after 2 months of the Emily retirement, Steve Jobs took the position as the president of the Apple Corporation and was doing the most of the products that Apple Corporation was making, which brought Macintosh to the market and became the most successful selling product of the Apple Corporation. After, Steve Jobs brought the Apple Corporation and to the market and was setting the standards for the computers and cell phones that were building. A few years ago, Steve Jobs died, and Tim Cook took the position of the CEO. They weren't doing so great, but after the new release of the iPhone, Apple Corporation became the most successful company that we have on the market right now. Thank you for your attention.